You come to Delhi, you're actually the first member of your family who speaks good English, is at home in the big city. Is that fair? First generation? First generation?
First generation who understands when somebody is speaking English.
First generation.
Yes.
Was that intimidating when you were at? Because I know you worked for Living Media and many other media companies.
Yes, it is not just intimidating. It was a movement like Tare Zameen Par, that alphabets are flying when the shell goes into the classroom. That has been with me in my engineering college classrooms. Instead of giving up, the only thing I treated myself to was, what if I overcome this? I've always believed, what if I overcome this? What magic kingdom is in front of me? And because I have been used to of such hindrances since my school days, college days, and then work days, early days, so it's always the same. What if I overcome this? What if we build a financial institution in this country that will make this country proud by bringing in such disruptions which for many years hasn't been brought yet?
You were saying that there was a time in your life when you had nothing. Explain that to me. What were you possessed about? What did you care about?
Well, I remember my childhood. We would only read newspapers and magazines, and that too, like obviously the language magazines, Hindi language magazines, that'll come in the school library. And I've seen that when you don't have everything in your life, that time what you have, whether it is your art, whether it is your passion, whether it is your persuasion that you want to continue, that becomes your possessive holding. And in my life, I didn't have any of this because I didn't have a luxury of having any passion whatsoever. We didn't have television, by the way, at my home till the time I was out of my college, out of my first job, selling first company. In 2000, my house got first color television.
Really?
That is the truth. And incidentally, because of that, because of the school library, all the feeling that I've got and all the passion and persuasion I got is for this Mother Earth, our country. And I seriously believe that one day I'll make my country proud by becoming either a man on the border, or I think I couldn't do the sports, so I couldn't be the one who could get the gold medal. So I've taken this as my personal target. I'll make our country proud. I get tears in my eyes when I listen to, by the way, Indian anthem. Do you know when Rupee was being launched, I had tears in my eyes. I was sitting next to this American guy who was giving them security solutions, and the on the stage in President's house, they were saying that how Rupee will bring India's transactions within India and not depend on international transactions, which when US cuts the sanctions, they just cut the pipe. I started to cry, and this gentleman was I was crying so heavily. The guy said, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, this is the movement that I believe that some of us have to build and be in this country for. And that is exactly the passion and excitement that remains and calls upon for every day. And I truly believe that some of us who will remain in this country will do some things which will make us, take us and bring us to the glory that we believe we have always had.
So why does something like the national anthem get you so emotional?
I truly believe it is like mother feeling and relationship feeling. I mean, it gets me there. It gets me there. When flag hoists, that I get that.
You're tearful at a flag hoisting?
Yeah, actually, I mean, you don't know. My YouTube playlist surprisingly has that School Chale Hum song that was Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, and then that Mile Sur Mera Tumhara, and those days Doordarshan, and then national anthems, and then all those things. That is I grew up on actually, because we didn't have anything else. Yeah, I mean, I won't tell you that I personally believe your aspirations are set when you are like in formative years, and they are called the childhood, right? My childhood was in a town. It was in a school where people were wearing chappals and they were luxury. My class had kids who didn't have white chappals, by the way. Okay. By the way, I lived a childhood where if we go to a marriage, my school dress is the only dress that I can wear. Because the problem is, my father was a teacher of a school of K-12, and the government of India would treat them as the people who would get money. The 5th pay commission happened to the central government people, not the state. And when it happened to the state,
what was your father's salary?
My father's salary, surprisingly, I found out later. When he retired, it was 23,000 rupees. I really got shocked. I really got shocked that it is so less. We expect country to be built by people who are this, who paid this. And my father belonging to a family where teaching is treated as like a very pious purpose. My grandfather had like colleges and schools in his name. So my father would never sell education, effectively doing tuitions. So he would teach people anything and wouldn't just take this money. I met Nandan, and Nandan told me when I requested him that, how about if you come on my board? And he said, Vijay, I never want to be conflicted. And I had to tell him that I want to tell you that I only met the second person in my life who said that I never want to be conflicted in my work. So that I never side with one kid over another in the classroom because this kid comes to give me more money. My father became teacher to a principal of that school. And that time, my father did extra classes. He just shut every tuition, like our Prime Minister has shut all the literary currency. And everybody cried, every teacher said that, look, you may not do tuitions, but we do tuitions, why are you taking it away from us? So as a truce, he came out with an interesting model. He said that classes will finish and then we will start the classes again as extra classes. Every kid who voluntarily wants to participate will pay 10 rupees and the sum that is being collected will be given to you, but you will not do special tuitions for these kids at your home. And that is what actually became.
So is your father your biggest influence?
I believe that values are built when you are in childhood, and that is the time when I probably built those values. And I think
but you're saying that if you went to a wedding, all you could wear was your school uniform.
And a Hawaii chappal. I still remember that a time when my cousins won't treat us as a peer to them.
Why?
Because they thought that these guys don't have anything. They felt uncomfortable associating with us, that they know us. They know us as a...
And they made you aware of that?
Yeah, we were young, we were 12-year, 14-year-old kid, I remember. So we could know what we knew.
Were you conscious of being poor?
The first time I felt poor was when I went back home. My sister told me that this time we didn't have enough money, so I had to do ask for money so that we can do these things at home. And that is when I felt that, oh gosh, this is so bad. And that is the time I quickly decided that I'll make sure. I wrote 4 lines of poem, by the way, haiku.
अच्छा बोलो हिंदी में.
हिंदी में. मैं गरीबी हूँ, मैं तुम्हें प्यार करती हूँ, मैं तुम्हें छोड़ नहीं सकती क्योंकि तुम मुझे उससे ज़्यादा प्यार करते हो.
Really? At 12 you wrote
At
this?
12.
But in your mind, therefore, are you still the underdog? Because you're a billionaire.
There was a time when I was in front of a bus and I did not have 10 rupees. So I walked from Priya Cinema Complex to Kashmiri Gate because I had 10
It's
rupees.
a long way.
That's a long way. I still remember 4 hours of walk because we didn't have enough money in the pocket. So I thought this 10 rupees would be useful for eating instead of going in the bus. Those days taught me that values matter. The best line I've heard about is that values are what keeps you when you are in dark and where have you to go. So those days were the testing times in a way. They were the formative years that if you don't have anything and nobody is watching you, you could have done something wrong. What are you doing?
Character is what you are in the dark.
Yeah, beautifully said actually. And I think I lived a long dark life, I can say that.
How does a guy like you, who comes from a middle-class family in Aligarh, is, as you say, ill at ease in the English-speaking big city, get to the stage where he launches something like Paytm?
When you are nobody, the only thing that you have is an anchor that you can throw and hook and attempt to reach there. And then once you start to get successful, you want to do that continuously. And soon you figure out that there is no fear and no greed that can take you forward. So simply just give away all the fear, give away all the greed.
So no fear of failure?
No. In fact, I have 3 missions. I have 3 personality statements, like a culture statement in this company.
What are they?
No fear, no greed, no entitlement.
Which has worked out in your case, right?
Well, I think
so we'll check on the greed. We'll check on the greed later, but the rest of it seems to work out. But did you have any failures in your life?
Pre-Paytm, I built an internet company and I was having customers, and I mean, we sold it to a customer and we didn't get the money.
You didn't get the money?
We didn't get the money. We got shares, like I talked to you a while back, just evaporated because they were paper, not necessarily the money. From there to the attempting of, I built a business for helping telecom operators to get content services, and soon I found out that my money in my bank account, which is cash flow, telecom operators were not paying on the time, balance sheet was profitable, and I was out of money. One of the really amazing things that happened in my life, and I want to share, is that this company that I'm talking about, that you're talking about billions of dollars worth today, I actually sold 40% of that company for 8 lakh rupees.
8 lakh rupees?
Because I had loan of 8 lakh rupees and I couldn't pay the interest. And because it was
Tell me the story. Tell me what was the loan for?
My company, like I told you, was problematic because of cash flow problems. So I took loan from someone. It was no collateral loan. Family doesn't have any asset and I do not have any. So it was a 8 lakh rupees loan paid at 24% annual rate of interest.
24%?
24%. So effectively now, earlier if I was not able to get money to put in the business, now I was not able to get money to pay even the interest. And this loan came from some family friend. So my father was on me that...
Not a real friend, he charged you 24% interest, right?
But I think, look, I have seen this in this country or maybe otherwise too. When people can take chance, people take chances. And that is how I think I've been. People try to use, abuse and do everything that they could have done.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you this, that this is again one of those reasons that I believe that financial services in this country needs a revolution.
Okay, let's get back to the 8 lakh loan. So you had this 8 lakh loan to pay off. How did you pay it off?
Well, so I then would go to people and set up something, one day do a classroom training, get 5,000 rupees, someday go set up internet connection, website and get a couple of thousand rupees. This was going on, so I hit upon a person who wanted a lot larger work done. Once I went to take the payment, so he said, why don't you join my company? And I said, I have my own company. Got to know, didn't know the business, but loved the enthusiasm. Said, I'll write you a 8 lakh rupee check because I do not know what your company is worth. I'll take 40%. Straightforward deal. And my father wanted me to get married and complete this sort of transaction pending. So my theory was, okay, this is better than shutting down the company.
So this company you sold 40% of is the company that became
It's the same
Paytm?
company that we are talking today and I'm part of.
So that 8%, that 40% today, that 8 lakhs worth would be worth how much?
Literally, I mean like tens of thousand crores.
It's crazy, you know, when you think about it.
Yeah, that's right. I think, but I on that day the value was 8 lakh. And tomorrow that value will be what we do not know. So,
but tell me this, you had no real experience in financial services because you've done different things. So how do you hit upon this?
Well, I think technology is amazing. Technology entrepreneurs have a way that I've seen across the world that they, I think Elon Musk doesn't have an experience of automobile, if you will.
Correct.
And so wouldn't he have experience of moon landing, if you will. But that said, it is the persuasion and perseverance to the mission that just makes things possible. I don't think that you need to have a previous domain knowledge to change something. Somehow, sometime being an outsider incidentally becomes helpful because you do not think the same way that industry has traditionally been thinking. And that is one of the lucky things that I believe.
Did you ever think Paytm become this big?
I think Paytm will become many times bigger than what it is.
So from the beginning you thought this would happen?
I definitely thought that I wanted to build something, sort of a legacy, if you will, getting in the books of history that this country produced something like this. And I definitely
This country produced or Vijay produced? Or both?
In 1998, when I got out of engineering college, I could have gone to US.
Yeah.
And my parents wanted me to go to US, Y2K and internet rush. But it was funny, I don't know how it became such a big persuasion of remaining in India and me that I gave up a lot of international options to remain in this country. And then one thing leading to other, I found myself believing and trusting and now even seeing that India will be that place where the payday will come, where the glory will come, where the commitment of giving back will happen. In fact, I do believe that the brain drain movement is becoming reverse brain drain, and that is exactly what my long-term aspiration was. Being a Hindi medium kid, being a person who studied the books of a different kind than probably a person from an open English medium books would have read, I have far more patriotic feeling than a...
You're getting emotional again.
I can get tears when you talk about India.
Yeah?
I do.
Where do you see India heading now?
I think India has a golden chance to become the leader, the first world in the digital world. I mean, I wish in my lifetime I see that day when India, which is treated like a third world, can proudly say we are the first world of the world when it is the digital world and the technology world. And imagine, we have Sundar Pichai, we have Satya Nadella, we have TCS, we have Infosys, we have what it takes. We have intelligence, capability, know-how, and the best export India does is technology. So why won't we create something and that will go out of the world? Well, the time has come because Indians now are the customers for the first time.
Earlier, our own market is our
Yes, actually, earlier we were inevitably facing the market of the world.
Correct.
And that is why we were always exporting, and India was very happy being the back office. Today we are the front office and people work for us. Today is the day when people will work for us. Today is the day when Americans and Canadians and the global people will work to build technology for Indians, and that is the proud moment for us.
A little bit about yourself, Vijay. I know people who know you reasonably well, and they say that though you've made all this money, you don't spend it. You haven't sold your shares
Ever.
to buy anything.
Yes.
That you've not bought your wife even a proper gift. Is that true?
Well, I think money is worth what? A food, I mean, I have one cup of tea in the morning, and I probably, once I got the salary, I started to have that. And I read the same newspaper that every one of us reads. So there is nothing. Money is not the worth it is treated as. Money must be worth the opportunity it creates, nothing more than that.
So you're going to treat the money as what? As a measure
And
of success rather than the means to buying something, or what?
No. There is only one measure of the money, that is that when you create a company out of this country, and if people of the world want to treat you in the Fortune 500 and people in the World Economic Forum want to treat you as a list of are you there or not, that is the reason that it is an entry point.
Otherwise, nothing?
Otherwise, literally nothing, because if you see the maintenance, when you do not spend...
But it's true you don't buy your wife expensive gifts?
My wife doesn't want it and I do not need to buy it. The best thing
But that's true, Pat.
That's not just true. We don't have a house. We live in a rented house, by the way.
I've heard that too. That's
yeah,
true.
That's not just true, but this is the truth. The funny thing is when there was a news that I'm one of those top 40 richest and whatever else in the country, my mom actually called. I thought you had loans. Are you really that rich? And I was like, no, that's just paper money, mom. If I was to tell you that I today have a loan on me, and then I did this share sale so that I can do for the Paytm Payment Bank, is the time when my loan is getting paid. I had a 60 lakh rupee loan.
But Vijay, you are worth today at you what, 28% of the old Paytm before the Paytm Bank, you had what, 28? You had 28%?
I 21, some 20 plus
something like
some
that.
20%.
So if you take a valuation of 8 billion or so, you're worth about $2 billion, just under $2 billion.
If money mattered and made a man, then every rich man would have been worth. I believe the history has never respected and regarded the rich. History has always respected and regarded who gave back and who built something worthwhile. And that is, I think, is the opportunity. Money is an opportunity to do something great. Money is not the end anyways.
So Vijay, what next for you?
Paytm Payment Bank, the bank which will build a new business model to the banking industry at large. And it won't be just because we are doing it in India at a Paytm Payment Bank level, but because the world has seen the bad of banking. Remember, these deposits that the bank gets, they get converted into risky assets.
Right.
And then governments...
And then non-performing assets, as we've seen, yeah.
Risky assets becoming non-performing assets. And that is when the money that you deposit the bank gets risked. Our bank will not risk that money. Our bank will be more secure than any bank whatsoever that you have there. Our bank will allow you to earn more value of the money that you keep and pay in a far superior way at a lower fee than any other bank you do. Basically, I believe that banking will see a sea change in the next few years, like we saw in the transportation in the case of Uber and Ola, like we saw in the case of shopping, Flipkart and Amazon, like we will see in the banking world. Companies like Paytm and few other will build and change the economy, change the banking ecosystem for the next level.
And you will be at the forefront of the change?
I definitely want to be known for the change agent. I want to personally be known as the man who challenged the status quo.
You're what, 36, 37? What are you?
I'm 37 or 38.
37, right?
37, 38.
You see yourself working for another 30 years?
I think when I'll die, I say, oh, great creator of being, grant us one more hour to perform our arts. I don't know which year and which date he's decided.